and Sheriff Mark Daniels. Good morning.
Good morning, Cochise County.
Hello, everyone.
So let's talk about a retirement right out of the chute from our SAR team.
Yes, Dave Nolan. A little bit about Dave Nolan. He's a sergeant. He actually has spent 40-plus years in law enforcement. He retired as a sergeant from the sheriff's office, 10 years ago, Carol?
Right.
I think it was. And within a 3-week window, he was back with us running search and rescue. And that's what he did at the sheriff's office when he retired the first time. And then he's been back with us last decade plus as a search and rescue coordinator. Dave has committed his entire life, his working adult life, to helping the people in Cochise County and the state of Arizona. He's well known. He's well recognized for his talents. And he's truly talented. So this is a big loss for Cochise County. Now, he's going to stay on as a volunteer for us, but he's not going to be the coordinator in that position. But we also use Dave as a certified officer. He stayed on as a reserve and used to respond to. I just heard him on a call the other day up in a stabbing up on I-10, up at the rest area where he responded to assist. So he's EMT trained. I mean, Dave's just been that special person. He's from the 80s. He's one of our 80s children, like Carol and I both do, and Ursula Ritchie, also one of our search and rescue coordinators. But so, again, Dave, thank you so much. Thank you to your family in support of your passion here to serve at the sheriff's office. We're truly going to miss you, but most of all, thank you for all you've done to help the citizens in Cochise County.
Congratulations, Dave.
Yes, and congratulations.
So in addition to that, all good things coming through. We had a visit in Cochise County from the National Guard. Their general came to visit, and we just want to give a shout out to the National Guard personnel. We have them stationed not only with the sheriff's office but other law enforcement agencies. But every single one that we have assigned to us helps us achieve our mission and our goals. So thank you so much to all of the National Guard personnel that we have.
And I echo that, Carol. And they do a really, really good job for us here. They work in our detention facility. They work in our support. They work in our special ops with the border issues that we're dealing with. They work with Sierra Vista Police Department. They work with our CCOM dispatch center. So thank you to Governor Ducey. Thank you to the general, or generals that have worked with us to make this happen. And I know the state budget's on the verge of being approved and signed for fiscal year 2022-2023. So that includes them staying. We're really concerned we're going to lose them. So I talked to the governor on that. I've talked to the military on that to keep the National Guard. They've been a true asset for us. So thank you, General, for the visit, and thank you for allowing us to utilize and partner with the National Guard.
And since you talked about budget, let's continue the budget conversation.
Well, again, thank you to Ann English and Peggy Judd for approving our budget here locally here for Cochise County. We have a balanced budget in Cochise County, and Cochise County sits with no debt. And I commend they've sat that way for probably a decade at least, Carol. Mm-hmm. So thanks to the board members and making that happen. And so we're sitting good. And that also included the budget, which I proposed market adjustments for my deputies and also my support staff. And we have a grant that's going to cover our detention folks for next 4 years and when it comes to market adjustment. So we're happy. Thank you for that, for Ann and Peggy. The state budget, as we speak, it looks really good. I have daily contact with them as the president of the Arizona Sheriff Association, as we have quite a few bills in there that will help from parity. Pay for deputies and detention officers is in that bill. $20 million for jail seed money from the state is in that bill. Some other funding there for borders in that bill. So we're really excited. This is probably one of the most successful years for sheriffs at the state. And people, I'll just share this with y'all, is counties are a subcomponent of the state government. We are. We don't have our own charters. We actually work with the state very closely, and that's why it's such a good relationship. That's why you see me so active when it comes to our state budget. So it sounds good. I got notified within the last 12 hours. Everything sounds really, really good that this budget's going to go through now. I was worried there for a while. It's been a very stressful week. Things have broken apart. No, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. Let's just do a skinny budget, which would be horrible in my mind because we lose all that extra funds. So, again, we're sitting really good. Once the governor signs it, hopefully before July 1st, that's when the new state budget kicks in. Cochise County will be a true will benefit truly from this budget.
So you've been really busy starting last weekend with you had a couple of events you went to, the NAACP and NAMI.
Yeah, start off with Mayor Mueller from Sierra Vista, and I attended the NAACP holiday event. It was Saturday over at the Rothery Center off Rye Boulevard. Really neat event. I mean, they had vendors there. They had stage acts up there. It was in the Herald. The Herald had some pictures of that, and just culturally, I learned a few things. I'll just say that. But it was a nice event, and the mayor read a proclamation there, and we just embraced the event itself and the people within. Then I left there, went over to NAMI, the National Alliance of Mental Illness, spoke there, and talked about our new grant through the Legacy Foundation, and they awarded to us as pretty much bringing mental health to first responders to help those in need. And so it was two great events. I mean, embraced by both, and this is what makes Cochise County a pretty special place. So it was a nice day.
And this past Wednesday, you were in Tucson for PISA.
PISA, which means it stands for Policia International Sonora, Arizona. So really what it boils down to is law enforcement both from Mexico, Arizona, and beyond, both state, local, and federal, coming together. Yesterday, Wednesday was their grand kickoff. And I spoke on behalf of the Arizona Sheriff Association and welcomed them and collectively said that sheriffs stand united to work both local, state, and federal, to include international, when it comes to identifying criminals and the evil that causes harm in our communities, to include our border issues that we're all addressing. So really nice event. It was packed. It was up in Tucson. I bet there was 400 or 500 people up there at this conference. So again, it was nice to share our partners like that, and because wearing a badge, whether you're from Mexico or from here, our job is to force the rule of law.
And they used to have that back in the day, and I don't have an exact time frame, but where they were able to come together, and especially when we were working cases like the Border Bandits,
Yes.
that was an important thing for us to network with our law enforcement partners south of the border. And I think that it was a really good way to have a cooperative look into what affects or challenges both sides of the border. So I'm glad that you went to that, and I think that it's going to be important for us to continue being a part of that particular group.
It really was. And I remember, speaking of Border Bandits, that was a team that Sheriff Deaver, former Chief Rothrock, and Detective Vince Madrid, we all four worked at the Border Bandits, and that was like the early 90s. And what that meant was they would come across the border late at night around 10 o'clock and then do home invasions, tie up the homeowners, and steal all their property and drive back to Mexico. By the time we got involved, they were already back into Mexico. So we worked that for a long time, brought resolution to it, ended up arresting 9 people, something like that, if I remember, and brought it to a halt. But it was a tough time here in Cochise County back in the time of doing that. So, but I remember this group back then. This group started in 1978, so they've been around a long time. But it's interesting because we share a lot of common ground: community, citizens, rule of law, and the criminal. So we need to work together.
And also, speaking of, you mentioned Sheriff Deaver, you have an event later this morning that you have to rush off to with one of his sons.
Yes. Congratulations to Brennan Deaver. Brennan's the oldest of Nancy and Larry Deaver, their son. He's got promoted to colonel, full colonel, and he's taken over the change of command this morning up on Fort Huachuca, where he's taken command of the Military Intelligence Center up there. So I'll be up there, and Nikki's going to go up with me and my wife, and we're going to go up there and embrace that ceremony and embrace the Deavers. I mean, what an achievement. Congratulations, Brennan.
Well, let's talk about your safety message of the week.
And it's something that we all see, and that is the use of cell phones while driving a motor vehicle. It's illegal to navigate, hold a cell phone up by your ear or in front of you. I mean, you name it. You can't navigate a cell phone in your hand and drive a motor vehicle. We had a 12-month period where we were out giving warnings on it. Sadly, we still have so many people, and it's called distracted driving. And law enforcement, I'll just say this, we're exempt from that law, but I'll just say this, I've even gotten the habit where I pull over if I'm going to use my cell phone, or I go wireless. You can still do wireless, that's legal. But when it comes to navigating a cell phone, trying to dial the phone while you're driving down the road at 55 miles an hour is deadly, folks. It's truly deadly. So I remind people, folks, slow down, number one, pull off the road, make your call, get your message across, and get back on the road. And I've seen people do that. I commend those people that, well, I'll pull over and they'll see their emergency lights on, I'll pull them behind them, their flashers, and make sure they're all right. And they'll say, no, I'm using my cell phone. Thank you. for those people to do that. But those that are still violating that, the end game's not going to be good, I promise you. So please, it is a law. We are enforcing that law. Put your cell phones down. If you're listening to the show this morning, please adhere to that, because I don't want to see something bad coming from that.
And our next guest is going to be the new police chief in Benson, and I know you wanted to send him a message as well.
Yep, Chief Votes. I got to make sure I say that right. It's with a V. Came out of Kansas. And I know I met him a couple times already. Very nice, kind of an old school cop from the Midwest, but really down to earth. I'm looking forward to working with him and building a relationship, partnership with him. But I wish him well, and I think the community will be very pleased with him being here as a new resident, him and his family here in Cochise County, specifically Benson.
Well, Sheriff Mark Daniels, we thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you, Grady. Thank you, Carol. All have a safe week. See you next week.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
For more information, visit ssvec.org.
Hello, everyone. Sheriff Mark Daniels here. Using a cell phone while driving is against the law. In fact, the law prohibits drivers from using a cell phone or a standalone electronic device while driving unless it's being used in a hands-free mode. This includes, but is not limited to, cell phones, tablets, music, and gaming devices. You cannot hold the device with any part of your body. This includes your hands or holding it with your shoulder to your ear. Up to 7% of fatal crashes are due to distracted drivers. 20% of those killed by a distracted driver were walking or riding a bike. Teens are already 3 times more likely to get in a crash, and distracted teens are responsible for 58% of teen crashes. Fines start between $75 and $149 for a first violation and $150 and $250 for each ensuing violation. Cochise County, distracted drivers are dangerous. Put your cell phones down. Save a life.
It's First Watch Now.
Hosted by Public Information Officer Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
On 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County. So we have newly minted Benson City Chief of Police, Greg Volker. Thank you so much for coming in today, Chief.
Thank you very much for letting me come in here and talk today.
Well, let's start with who you are. Kind of give us your background in law enforcement and where you're from.
So my name is Greg Volker, and I have been the Chief of Police for Benson for about the last month, and I'm honored to be here in Cochise County and working in the city of Benson. So I am a retired major out of the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department, 29 years with Kansas City, and then after I left there in the end of 2020, I was a instructor, course developer for the National White Collar Crime Center, working on intelligence analysis products and teaching that to law enforcement, mostly civilian analysts throughout the country. So I have 4 kids and 5 grandkids. My youngest and my wife and I do have a house in Benson. We have lived here, signed our contract. We have our house in Benson. We're very happy with this town of Benson and living here.
And how long have you been here so far?
So I started on May 16th, and that was my initial starting date. Extremely impressed first day with the officers, and of course to reach out from the sheriff from Cochise County, a lot of the other chiefs in the area, and the officers and from the Department of Public Safety and Border Patrol welcoming me into this community very, very quickly. First day, met a lot of people. Very, very happy to be here.
So what do you think of Benson so far?
Benson is a great town. Is that great kind of a stopover tourist destination between the areas of, Sierra Vista, going down to Tombstone or down to Douglas. It's on Interstate 10. It has a lot of great restaurants, a lot of great people. That's one of the most important facts that I found myself and my family have found, is how welcoming the community has been to us.
And so what are some of your goals? What are some of the things that you see that you want to have a projected end for, like you want to see something change that maybe you can help along?
Well, one of the things that, we in Benson, and like a lot of law enforcement agencies across the country, we are constantly recruiting. I do have open positions for officers and dispatchers, and if you don't quite understand the law enforcement profession, you want to know more, come and talk to us. We will do our best to explain what we do and how we do it. One of the things that I really kind of bringing to Benson, especially with the partnership with the other chiefs, is some upgraded technology and increasing the awareness of what we in law enforcement do and what we can do for the community, community policing, ensuring that the community knows what we are about. But really, we need that partnership with the community, ensuring that they can talk about the problems. We can look through and work to problem-solving initiatives. That is kind of where I'm at. It's not about the enforcement of the law. It's about the partnership with the community and making sure that we can live together in this great town of Benson and, of course, in Cochise County.
Law enforcement across the country has a baseline of it's the same everywhere. But what are the differences between Missouri and Benson that you've seen so far?
Well, one of the things is the community itself and the friendliness of the community, the relationship between law enforcement and the military and the citizens itself, because this is a very law enforcement, military supportive community. And that is one thing that I came from Kansas City, Missouri, very, very large city. The whole city was not supportive of law enforcement as much as I have seen here in the Benson, especially and in the county itself.
Some of the things that you're going to notice, again, along the lines of partnerships, are the different ways that law enforcement agencies, whether it's through a special operational detail or just daily working, we're anticipating maybe having some kind of thing around the Christmas time. We've been threatening to decorate a Benson Christmas tree for the past several years, and we haven't done it. But if we could have a challenge to see about Benson Police Department Christmas tree, Cochise County Sheriff's Office Christmas tree, we might actually have to work on that, Grady.
That's true. Do we accept the challenge?
Of course, that would be great. And I know everyone in Benson, especially in my department. I do have some wonderful and great people that I work with, for the police department in Benson, and the city council and city manager have been very supportive of what we do. We will be there to accept that challenge.
All right.
I love it. We got 6 months to plan now, Carol.
I know. It sounds like we're going to need it.
I know. Well, what do you want the public to know about the Benson Police Department?
Well, one of the things I want you to know is that we are there to support the community, work with the community, and there are some issues throughout the country regarding especially narcotics, illicit type drugs that are coming into our communities, the issues that individuals have. If you do have issues or within your family, it's okay to come in and talk, to ask for help, to look for solutions to long-term problems. And that's what, those of us in law enforcement, we're there to actually continue to assist families as we work through these problems. Like I said, it's not about stopping and getting that traffic ticket. Really, it's about trying to work through problems and ensuring you can live safely in your community and your homes.
Well, Chief Volker, we welcome you to our community, and we think you're going to fit in quite nicely.
I appreciate very much the opportunity for being here, and I look forward to many years of working in this area.
Well, we thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you so much.
All right, Carol, who do we have coming in next?
We have Randy Suskin from the Rotary Club. We're going to talk about the fireworks that are coming, so everybody get ready.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
It's First Watch Now.
Hosted by Public Information Officer Carol Campus and Grady Butler.
On 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Campus, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and we've changed up the guest list.
We've done a quick insert and then change. So we have Lieutenant Heather from the Salvation Army. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Carol. I'm very happy to be here.
We've been talking all week. Hi, we've been talking all week about your yard sale. Now it's coming up tomorrow.
It is. So, as a lot of you know, we had a yard sale, and we still had a lot of stuff left over, especially clothes. And we actually did have somebody pass out, and it was super hot. And so we're like, okay, maybe we should do it inside the building. So we have everything in the building, so you can go through the clothes. And we have an abundance. We probably got exaggerating would say 15 tables. Non-exaggerating would be 10 full tables with clothes all across them.
You scared me for a minute. You said you had somebody pass out, and I thought it was because of low prices.
Yeah, well, it's only $1.
Okay,
so
whether
it's
maybe it was the prices.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
Right, and they were in big gaylords, and so it's kind of hard to and they were digging, leaning in, and there was a lot of new stuff and a lot of stuff with tags, and so excuse me. So yes, there was quite a bit of digging.
So tell us why you're having this yard sale, because that's important as well.
So we were going to be opening up the thrift store. We were going to open in our old location, and it just didn't seem feasible for us to have a distribution center and whatnot. And as time went by, to start a new store was just so much money and so much capital that we've decided at this time, not saying not in the future that we wouldn't, and if we got an amazing donation, that'd be super fantastic. But as of right now, we are not opening the thrift store. So we had 2 big trailers full of stuff and our old building, and so we had the first yard sale in May, and then our amazing volunteers were like, okay, well, let's do another one.
Right.
And so that's what tomorrow is.
So tell us a little bit, just briefly, because I asked you a question before we got here about furniture, but tell us a little bit about what you have to sell and generally the low prices. And then you wanted to put a plug in for another yard sale.
I do. So yes, so we are pricing it to sell. So we want it to go. And so some of the furniture that we did have previously, I think that Roy, our volunteer who's handling the furniture, has some of it down for $1 or $5, just because we want all of it gone. We don't want to, pay to get for a dump. But unfortunately, St. Vincent de Paul, they had their ceiling came in, and so they haven't been open. But they're going to have a furniture sale today, which is right around the corner. Literally, you can walk from there to our place and shop for all kinds of furniture and for all kinds of clothes. And we have lots of house goods and shoes. We have a lot of shoes and a lot of clothes and a lot of house goods.
And a lot of shoes and a lot of clothes.
Shoes and a lot of clothes.
So I'm sorry. So the St. Vincent de Paul sale is the same day. So it's both of them tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay.
And where is this yard sale going to be happening?
It is going to be happening at 180 Wilcox at the Salvation Army inside. There will be signs outside, and if you look at our old building, you'll see the gentleman that's handling the furniture, and he's over at the old building because it's closer to the trailers.
Excellent. All right. Well, let's talk about some of the other projects you've got coming up. Monday is the Sober Project.
Yes. So Mondays at 12:30. We are so blessed to have Randy Baker. He comes and he leads Sober Project, which is it's kind of like Celebrate Recovery, but it's not. It's digging into God's Word and having a meeting all at the same time, and it's super fantastic. Some days he's got 2 people, some days he's got 10. But we're blessed that they were able to come in and at lunchtime. You can't find a lot of meetings, unfortunately, here in Sierra Vista or even around, that are during the daytime when people need one at lunch. All
right. Well, remind us one more time where that yard sale is going to be tomorrow.
Okay. It is going to be at 180 Wilcox from 8 o'clock to 2 p.m. Same place on Sunday at 10 a.m. for church.
All right. Make sure you check that out tomorrow and Sunday and Monday. And, Carol, now we have Randy coming in next.
Now we have Randy coming in, so everybody get ready.
KWCD Country, it's First Watch, brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
It's First Watch Now
on 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County, and welcome, Randy. We appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
4th of July.
Yeah.
It's going to be here before we know it.
It's on the calendar, as I like to affectionately tell people. It's here. It's happening. Couple of things that have been confirmed in the last day or two. We are confirmed for the flyover, which will be part of the salute to the Union ceremony on Monday. We do the 50-state salute with the cannons, and then depending on the timing of the flyover, the idea is to have the flyover right after the last cannon, but it doesn't always work out that way. But whether they come at the beginning, in the middle, or we have to wait a little bit at the end, it's always nice to have the planes go over the top. And then entertainment all day long on the stage with lots of different events, military displays, and not trying to just glaze over it, but it is just stay tuned and you want to come out. And also to remind everybody that we do have the best fireworks show in the state. So if you're planning on leaving, don't.
That's right. And all the events actually start on the 3rd.
There are the Kiwanis Club does their street dance on the night of the 3rd, and this year they have a different band than they've had for many, many years, and the band that's playing this year is Gigi and the Glow. And that will start on Sunday night, the 3rd, and the band starts about 7, but we will have food vendors and beer and wine and soda available, so you can come out, hang out with the band, dance all night, and then get ready for all the festivities starting early Saturday morning with the Pets and People Promenade from New Frontier Medical Center and hosted by you, Grady.
Yep, I'll be there.
And then the entertainment starting on the stage at 9 a.m. and it'll just go all day. We have local kids from different organizations, martial arts schools, gymnastics schools, dance schools, some local bands, the Sierra Vista Community Band and Desert Fever will be playing at night, and then taking a break for the fireworks, and then coming back on after the fireworks. Brandon Sanchez, who is a local musician, will be on the stage, and like I said, you got to be there.
All right, well, let's talk about the fireworks themselves.
Boom.
I think there's a little more than that.
No, and I don't remember an exact number, but there is somewhere in the neighborhood of around 5,000 shells.
Wow, nice. And this the biggest in the state still, right?
It's not only the biggest, it's the best, and the fireworks supplier says, bar none, we have the best finale.
Excellent.
And it's all hand fused.
Which means what?
No electronics.
Really? You guys are lighting them with matches?
Yes. And it's being done, maybe not matches, but yeah, it's a hand-fused show. You don't press a button to make it go off.
And is that new, or have you guys always done it that way?
It's always been done that way for 55 years.
Nice. That's really cool.
Yeah, it is, and it also makes it, there's a little more control, and things also can't just go in a blink. So if there is when you're fusing it and you're lighting it, you have control. But that's also when some people say, well, there was a big gap. Well, that big gap was because one of the shells didn't fire the way it was supposed to. So, and then also people say, well, how come there was a bunch of stuff afterwards? Well, they're fireworks. We can't keep them.
Right.
So they gotta go.
Well, let's talk about the ground display for a bit. If you're down at Stone Sports Complex, you get to see the ground show. And the ground show is, again, that not only is hand fused, but when you see the fireworks go off, it is a waterfall, and that has to be not only hand fused but hand strung, and it gets stretched out across the field, and that was done many years ago, and our biggest long-time sponsor, Vinny from Vinny's Pizza, when that happened, he said, how do we make this happen forever? And an agreement was made that he would be the largest sponsor by at least $1 to make it happen. Well, he and Chip, between them, have absolutely fulfilled. Chip took over and kept it going after Vinny's untimely passing, and that's it. It's not the only reason we do it, but the waterfall is great to see. If you've never seen it, come see it. If you have seen it or it's been a while, come see it again. Well, the Rotary Club puts this on every year, and that's always behind the scenes. So this is your moment to shine. Tell us about the Rotary Club.
Well, we're a worldwide organization that was originally founded in the early 1900s. I don't want to give you an exact date because I'll get it wrong. That was originally found to eradicate polio around the world. It is still our core mission. There are 2 countries right now that still have confirmed cases of polio. So it's getting there. But we are a civic service organization. Most Rotary clubs do things in their local community to better the community. Some of the service projects that we've done in the Sierra Vista Rotary Club is we helped refab the Boys and Girls Club. We've done playgrounds at some of the schools, at the Forgash House, where we're in the upcoming year we're going to be working with the city on trying to help with some of the new sports facilities that are coming on board. But that's what we do as the as the Sierra Vista Rotary Club and any Rotary Club anywhere in the world. It is an organization with 1.2 million Rotarians.
That's pretty cool. Well, we thank you for what you do in our community. And the 4th of July could not happen without some sponsors. So are there like your big sponsors that you'd like to mention?
Well, as you said, your sponsor of this show is SSVEC, and Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative is also one of our big sponsors, along with Vinny's Pizza, K101, KWCD, and Thunder 98, the Sierra Vista Herald. And I know if I try to go through the list, I will miss somebody, but just to hit a few, Stan Greer Millworks, Pioneer Title, just the ones that I can think of off the top of my head that have been longtime sponsors because they understand the value of community as well as the Rotary Club, and that's where we're at right now.
Well, Randy, we'd like to invite you back next week because that'll be the 1st of July, and we'll give a run through of everything that's going to be happening at the park and the fireworks display. So will you come back next week too?
Yeah, I think I can do that.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming and talking to us today, Randy.
Thank you very much.
And how do they get a hold of us at the Sheriff's Office, Carol?
So you can reach out at Cochise County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Mark J. Daniels. That'll be our Facebook page. You can also link to our Instagram and our Twitter account from there, or our webpage at cochise.az.gov/sheriff. And you can have this show on reruns, so take a look.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
Been listening to First Watch with the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
Join us again next Friday morning, 7 to 8 a.m.
First Watch.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Only on 92.3 KWCD.